This is episode number 175. Welcome to Your Anxiety Toolkit. I'm your host, Kimberly Quinlan. This podcast is fueled by three main goals. The first goal is to provide you with some extra tools to help you manage your anxiety. Second goal, to inspire you. Anxiety doesn't get to decide how you live your life. And number three, and I leave the best for last, is to provide you with one big, fat virtual hug. Because experiencing anxiety ain't easy. If that sounds good to you, let's go. Well, welcome back, lovely, lovely friends. How are you? How are you doing? Just checking in with you guys. Thank you again for being here with me. Once again, I am so grateful that you choose to spend your time with me, so thank you so much. Today's episode is a little bit of an impromptu, mainly because I recently did an Instagram post, and it's on a concept I talk about all the time, but it got a lot of traction, and it really made me realize that maybe you needed that reminder. You know, I always think it's interesting when a concept sticks really heavily with people. It makes me realize like, ooh, okay, that's where I need to head. That's the direction that people obviously need help. And let me share with you what this concept was. So one of the core concepts of self-compassion is to treat yourself how you would treat someone else if they themselves were suffering. So what I want to do is, this will be a quick episode. I want you to go with me on a little exercise. Just check in and see if there is any areas that you could up your self-compassion game. Because if you're going to up your self-compassion game, every single goal of mine has been won, and we can all go home really, really happy. It's sort of one of my core mission, a part of my mission statement is to hopefully create a world of people who have anxiety who start to treat themselves better, kinder, more compassionately, more respectfully, just nicer. Okay, so here's the exercise. I want you to think back to a time where someone you love deeply was struggling. If you can't think of a time, just imagine it. Think of someone who you care about, who you genuinely wish well, and think about them coming to you and them saying, hey, I'm having a hard time. Now, when someone you love, someone you care for, someone you wish to be well, comes to you and says, I'm having a hard time, I'm suffering, what is your immediate response? Usually our immediate response is, oh my goodness, that is so painful. I'm so sorry you're going through that. How can I help? What can I do to support you? That's the best kind of care. Now, for those of you who, when I originally asked the question, you had a different reaction, that's fine too, right? It's common that when someone else is suffering, sometimes we may feel defensive or we may feel angry because we haven't got the space for it, or we may feel resentful because what we assume their pain doesn't compare to our pain, right? So if you had any of those reactions, that's fine, right? I'm not here to tell you how to feel, right? And that may be something you want to go and work through, because if those reactions were strong, those reactions need to be tended to with self-compassion too, right? We don't want to just judge you and go, oh, that's wrong, and move on. No. That does not add to a self-compassionate practice. That just takes you away into self-criticism and self-punishment. So we don't want to do that. Back up a little. We don't want to do that. But let's just go to this genuine, innate reaction that most humans, almost all humans, or actually all humans were born with, which is the genuine care to help and take care of each other, which I know is you. I know is you deep, deep down. Now, that reaction, that desire, that impulse to go, hey, how can I support you? That is exactly how you need to tend to yourself when you're suffering. When you're having a moment of pain, disregarding where the pain came from, disregarding who's at fault and who's to blame and how you could have prevented it, I want you to lean towards speaking to yourself how you would speak to another person or even a stranger. Sometimes we treat strangers better than we do our loved ones. So that's the truth too. But, again, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you how to feel and how to treat others. I'm here to talk about how you can up your self-compassion game. When you're in pain, to say, hey, I am so sorry you are going through this. How can I be there for you? What do you need? What will get you through this? And often the person, let's say we were talking to a loved one, they would have some wisdom for us. Often, if I were to say if my husband came to me and he was venting and he was telling me how much pain he was in, usually he just wants me to listen and be there, right? Very few people want advice. And so that's what I try to do for myself. There will be times when I'm in pain where I need to stop and go, okay, Kimberly, you're in pain. Let's tend to this, but let's also work to solve this problem. The long-term problem, not the short-term problem. We don't want to just get rid of short-term relief. That usually ends up flopping. We end up falling on our butt when we do that or getting stuck in a cycle of problematic behaviors. But we may want to zoom out and go, okay, let's take a really big look at the big problem here. Okay. So our work is to tend to ourselves like we would tend to others. Treat ourselves as we would treat others. Respect ourselves as we would respect others. There is no exception to this. You cannot give me one reason why you are exempt. A lot of my patients and clients will say, oh no, but I deserve this. I did this to myself. It doesn't matter who you did it to or why you did it and, who's to blame. You're in pain. You're suffering. And you may have chosen this suffering or this behavior that caused suffering because you were in pain. So there is no exception. You deserve care-ness every single way, every single step of the way. Okay, that's all I have to say. Put it into practice. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So we really want to focus in on this as being our highest priority. Little bit of science. Self-compassion helps everything. We don't have scientific evidence of exactly that, but we do. It helps with motivation. It helps with anticipatory anxiety. It helps with treatment. It helps with treatment outcomes. It helps with success performance. It helps with quality of life. It reduces depression. It reduces anxiety. It increases quality of life. Go for it. The stats are in, folks. Don't stop. Okay. All right. I'm going to say goodbye. Before I do so, I'm going to let you know again, please do go and leave an honest review wherever you listen to this. I would absolutely love it. Would be the best thing for me if you could. We are going to give away a pair of Beats headphones of your choosing of color for one lucky person who leaves an honest review. I'm not just saying the people who leave the best ones, but I have loved reading all of the reviews. Thank you so much. It really does help me find other people who need my help. And so go and leave a review if you feel so inclined. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next week. Please note that this podcast or any other resources from cbtschool.com should not replace professional mental health care. If you feel you would benefit, please reach out to a provider in your area. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for supporting cbtschool.com.